You know, for the longest time, as I was growing my business, Story Learning, over the last 12 years, I think deep down in the depths of my psyche, I felt like I just got lucky. I just happened to have a skill that was monetizable. I just happened to start that blog that day in August 2013 from a dusty cafe in the Middle East. I didn't have to do that. I just got lucky. It just happened to be in a niche where people would spend money, and I was on the right side of a right trend that grew over the next 10 years. I just got lucky that I managed to build an amazing team of people who wanted to work on the business with me. I'm lucky that I was healthy enough to be able to do all of this stuff. I just got lucky, and it's been very difficult at times for me to believe that anything else is the case, because so many things have to come together in order for this to work. Maybe you feel something like this too. I've noticed recently, and this is why I'm making this video, I've noticed recently that many entrepreneurs that I know, including many that I work with, have also said to me the words, man, I just feel like I got lucky. So much so that I started to recognize a pattern among many education entrepreneurs in particular. You feel like you just got lucky. You haven't really earned your place at the table. You don't really deserve to be here. You just got lucky. And if everything were to disappear tomorrow, you don't believe deep down that you could build back and you could get back what you had because you just got lucky. A lot of us feel that. For a long time, I felt that. But I've also managed to overcome it in the last few years. And for every person that I have seen who expresses this idea that I just got lucky, I've now started to see people who have felt that probably and been on a similar journey, but have also managed to prove that it wasn't just luck, and actually all that you've been through was actually just the warm-up act, and the best is yet to come. Now, why does this matter? I think this matters because there's a lot of change going on in the internet right now. A lot of businesses are experiencing shifts, declines. I've heard from a lot of people who said, I've been in business for 15 years, but I've taken my eye off the ball in the last few years and things have just declined and my business is now a shadow of what it used to be. Now, there are also plenty of other businesses that have exploded and done really well, but I'm making this video because I know a lot of people deep down feel that they just got lucky and they are not sure if they can do it again. They're not sure if they can repeat their luck. But here's the thing, you have to believe that you can repeat your luck in order to make a success of it. It is one of those things where the quality of your mindset will dictate the outcome. Now, I've thought a lot about how this fear that maybe I just got lucky has impacted my business over the years. And I think actually it has impacted in a lot of ways, because if you think about it, if you have this deep-seated fear that actually it was all just luck, well, you're going to take less risk than you otherwise would, aren't you? And the entrepreneurs that do really well, fundamentally what they learn to do is to take calculated risks with capital, and they get better at this risk-reward analysis over time to the point where, really they're just taking what seem from the outside like huge risks, but they all happen to pay off because you've got good at doing this. We have to embrace risk-taking in order to get better at it. And the better you get at it, the more successful you can become in business. But when I think back to the 12 years that I've been running Story Learning, there were times where I've now realized that my kind of deep-seated fear around me just being lucky has meant that I was holding on to the reins more than perhaps I should have done. Now, these days, I'm not involved in Story Learning much. I've stepped away. I have a CEO running the business. It's all going great. And we'll get to this a little bit later. But it was a process for me to get there. And when I think back to the times when I was running and leading the company, there were a lot of things I didn't do because of this fear of maybe all of this just being luck. What are some of those things? Well, I almost certainly did not invest as fully as I could have done because I wanted to hold on to cash, because I thought, well, what if this is the only chance I'll ever have to make money? There was almost certainly some of that at play. I was probably slow to hire people and faster to do stuff myself because, you hire people, then obviously that costs money, and then that's risk because it's harder to, if hires don't work out, then it's harder to reset. A lot of big plays that we've made a lot of big plays at Story Learning, but there's also all kinds of things we could have done. For example, I've had a long-standing desire to build software for Story Learning, some language learning software. I haven't done it because, honestly, I've been too scared of the tech side of things because I'm not technical. But then, again, what does that really signify? It signifies, well, if it goes wrong, then there's a huge risk. And then if it turns out that all of this was just luck, well, that was a stupid move, blowing it all on some software player. So There were things like that I didn't do. And then there have been lots of times when I thought it actually makes more sense to pivot or start a new business. And I held off on doing that for a very long time for that same reason, because I thought if it's the case that it was all just luck, then what I should really be doing is focusing on this thing I've got now, because this is my one and only chance. So there were all kinds of things that I didn't do out of this fear. But what I've come to realize is that it's just a choice of how you look at the situation. Let me give you the opposite viewpoint. So the original viewpoint is I just got lucky and this thing just happened. I'm just riding a big wave of luck. It's not really down to any of my skill. But what if instead it's the case that over a period of, I mean, for me, for story learning, it was 12 years. A lot of people watching this will have been doing stuff online for just as long. What if instead of thinking it was all just luck, you thought that, okay, well, what I've been doing for those 12 years actually is just one big, long process of skill acquisition. I've been learning email, I've been learning content, I've been learning copywriting, I've been learning video, I've been learning all of these things, product development. And actually what I've got on my side is a humongous amount of skill. Now, in the very worst case, this skill can be taken to go and work with other people. In fact, one of my very favorite exercises is to keep a list of all the things that you would do if your business were to go to shit tomorrow. What would you do? I've got a list of people, entrepreneurial friends, who I would call up if I had no more revenue. I'd say, hey, I'm looking to do some new things. Can I write some copy for you? Can I help you with your content strategy? Now, I don't think that any of this is ever going to happen, but it's like a safety net, which allows me to think if the worst were to happen, I know, and I want to bank the fact that, hey, I've got all of this skill that I've developed over years, and the worst case scenario can be sold to people, and I can probably quite easily make 10, 20K a month just by doing these services to people because I'm damn good at it. That's the pessimistic view. The optimistic viewpoint, which I think is the much better one, is to say, look, with all of this skill, what are the chances that I can't go off and start another business, do something new, and instead of taking 12 years to do it, actually do the whole thing in 3 because I'm just so much better than I was before. And I think now this is far more likely. And I think about examples around me all over the place of people that have done this. So this business right now that you're seeing, ollyrichards.co, it's my business mentorship brand. I pivoted from story learning to this. Now, story learning is still going. I have a team running it, so I'm still the owner of the business. But I decided that the better use of my time over the next 10 years, because story learning is quite a mature business already, is to take this career capital, this skill acquisition that I have done, and actually put that to use in a brand new business. And that's why I was able to build this business to over $1 million in revenue in the second year, because I was able to compress those 12 years of learning into a big, much quicker action plan. My friends over at Langua, which is an incredible leading AI business for learning languages, the founder of Langua had a similar journey where he before ran Langua Talk, which was a more kind of human-to-human tutoring business. And then before that, another, like a V1 of this was a previous brand and previous company. This journey has led him from doing multiple things in that space through to pivoting towards AI and now having a hugely successful company doing AI. It's the accumulation of skills and every iteration of that getting better. I think of my friend Mark, who's a co-founder at Authority Hackers, an OG internet business. They've recently pivoted and gone all in on AI, and I've been looking at their stuff and it's absolutely fantastic. If you want to learn to use AI in your business, you should definitely check that out. They have YouTube channel, newsletters, all of that. And I've seen what they've done in a really short amount of time, 6-12 months, they've already built something which is like, okay, this is just awesome. How did they do that? Because they spent 10 plus years building Authority Hackers, and they've got all of this skill they've developed, which means they'll be able to take that skill and then make the business building process compressed into way, 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 way less time. There's examples of people doing this all over the place. And so if you are someone that feels this scarcity mindset, this fear over, did I just get lucky? Was it all just luck? Then I encourage you to take a bit of inspiration from this and ask yourself instead, what if it was all just a warm-up act and the best is yet to come?